It's awkward.
It's Tuesday.
It's Brooke and Jubal's Awkward Tuesday phone call.
As I always say in the bedroom right after stretching, it's time for Daddy to lay down the law.
Oh.
I just got hot in here.
That's exactly what's happening today with an
Wow.
Awkward Tuesday phone call.
Is it?
We don't get a lot of these where a parent wants to call their kids, but Richard is on the phone, and apparently he wants to call one of his kids today. What's up, Richard? How are you?
I've been better, if I'm being totally honest.
Okay. Is it because of what you want to talk about, or now you're picturing me stretching in the bedroom saying it's time for Daddy to lay down the law?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I like that about you, Richard.
Thank you. Basically, I need a little bit of advice. I've got two kids,
Okay.
a son and a daughter.
You know both of them?
Well, I know them both very well.
Good job, Dad. Good job.
Good.
And how old are these kids?
They're both in their 20s.
Oh, I thought for sure we'd be calling a 5-year-old.
No. My son Dylan, who is the person I'm going to need a little bit of help calling and talking to, he recently met a nice young lady from a well-to-do family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he graduated top of his class, got hired by an awesome law firm.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? Call
So,
him
yeah.
and tell him he's a disappointment? Like,
Yeah.
sounds great.
Sounds like he's killing it.
Yeah.
He is killing it, but my daughter has had a hard time, like, holding down a job, kind of bounces from job to job, and I don't want to say she's a screw-up. I mean, I love her,
But you did.
she's just kind of one could say she's a free spirit.
Okay.
Okay. So she's not necessarily as focused, I guess, as your son has been.
Very much not. And this is why I need the help here is basically my son is going to be okay.
Okay.
All right.
And so I'm thinking of making some changes to my will to where my daughter receives the majority of the inheritance only because my son he's going to end up being a multimillionaire on his own.
So you're saying...
So you're not worried about him,
What?
but you're worried about your daughter. If you pass, you're like, she's going to need all the help she can get.
Very much so, yeah.
But that's
So wait.
weird. It's like you're punishing him for being successful?
I mean,
I understand what you're saying about punishing him, and I can see why you would think that, but that's not the way I see it. She needs it more.
right, it's
Yeah.
where your money can do the most good,
It's your
is
will.
the way you see it. But so
Right.
what are we calling your son to say? Like, sorry, kid, you're out?
I guess that's part of why I'm calling you guys. Is, I could definitely use advice on how to approach this.
Wow, this is hard.
So you want to tell your son that you're going to change your will so that your daughter gets pretty much everything because you're not worried about him. And what do you think his reaction is going to be? Like, if I were in his shoes, I'd probably be like, oh, that's kind of a cool vote of confidence.
Well, it's
I might not be too worried about it.
I'm hoping he understands, and I feel like he will, but it is an odd conversation to have.
It's going to be really hard for him not to feel like you're playing favorites here.
Yeah, because
Like-
the other angle would be, don't you love them equally? And then if he's going to help his sister, that's his decision later?
That's a fair way to look at it, but at the same time, it's, things happen between people. I have two siblings, and over the years, one of my siblings and I, for reasons I don't want to go into, don't really talk very much anymore.
Oh, okay.
If my parents had put me in that position, I would do the right thing, but I don't know if that would have gone the other way.
Yeah, you never know. So you don't want him to become like resentful that you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to avoid that right now. And so I'm stepping a little bit outside the box and asking for your guys' help.
Oh my God. There's a lot on the line because
Yeah.
not only could it potentially ruin your relationship with your son, but you could also be ruining your son and your daughter's relationship together.
Now.
I'm trying to avoid that.
Ooh.
All right. Well, we'll try to figure out some advice. We'll play a song and then we'll come back, give you a little bit of advice, and then you can make your Awkward Tuesday phone call, okay?
Sounds great.
All right. Hang on, Daddy. Sorry.
It's awkward.
It's Tuesday.
It's Brooke and Jubal's Awkward Tuesday phone call.
You ever been in a car ride, like when you were a kid with your friend's family, and then your friend gets in trouble and the parents are just kind of scolding them the whole time, and you're sitting there like trying to look at something else like, I don't know what to say here.
Yeah.
Well, that's about to be us in a few minutes because Richard is on the phone and he wants to call his son Dylan in an Awkward Tuesday phone call. Richard just told us about how his son is basically crushing life right now. He's got a law degree, he's got a job at a law firm, dating somebody who's from like a rich family too. And then Richard's daughter is not doing as well.
Kind of the
Can't really
opposite.
hold a job, doesn't really know what to do with her life. And Richard wants to call and tell his son that he's planning on changing his will to give most of the inheritance to the daughter because Richard feels like his son is going to be okay, and he's worried that this conversation might make his kid mad at him or resentful. All right, Richard, are you about ready to make your phone call?
Yeah, do any of you have any advice? Brooke, do you have any advice?
I mean, I just think you need to start the conversation with a lot of compliments. Don't go right into the will at first. First, you got to really talk up how well he's doing, how proud you are of him, how you know he'll always be okay. And then you drop the bomb.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good idea.
I can do that.
And like Jose said, like emphasize that this isn't about like picking favorites. It's about making the best use of your money.
Right.
And in a way, you're picking him to be the favorite because you're like, dude, you're so good, I don't even have to worry about you. You're my favorite kid. You should actually say that. You're my favorite kid. She's like, she's there, so I have to make sure she's okay. You should say that, those exact words.
This is why I asked for Brooke's advice.
All right. Well, I'm going to dial the phone number right now, and you can make your phone call, okay?
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
All right. Good luck.
Hello?
Hey, Dylan is your father.
Hey, Dad, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. How's it going? How are things?
Good. I'm good. I'm just at work right now. What's up?
Just dealing with some stuff, kind of hanging out. You have a minute to talk?
Yeah, of course. What's going on?
Cool. So, I've been doing a little bit of thinking, and I just want to start off by saying I am really proud of how you are just doing in life right now.
Thanks,
You're
man.
doing so well for yourself. You've met this wonderful girl and her awesome family, and you're doing great at your job. You killed it in college. I'm very, very proud of you.
Well, Dad, I really appreciate it. Is that the only reason you called?
No. So this is a little bit of an awkward thing, but I didn't know how to talk to you about this. Because you are doing so well in life, I have had to, I don't even know how to explain this.
It's okay, man.
So I've made a decision that I am modifying my will, and
Okay.
I'm modifying my will for the majority of the inheritance to go to your sister.
Wait, what?
Let me explain. You are going to be just fine. I'm not worried about you. You have my full confidence. Whereas, as you know, your sister is and always has been a little bit more of a free spirit.
Yeah, she's doing all right now, though. She's getting better.
Is she, though? Like, let's be honest here.
No, Dad, I think you're worrying way too much. She's got a job. She's seeing a guy. Like, she's doing better than she's done in a long time. I think you got to give her a little credit.
I mean, I'm hoping it works out. I'm hoping everything works out just great. But,
It will, Dad. I mean, she's going to be fine.
I mean, maybe, but maybe not. So what I would prefer to do is she's going to get the majority of the inheritance because, God forbid, if something happened to me, she is going to need the help more than you would.
Wow. No offense, Dad, but you don't have any money.
Well, it may not be money per se, but I do have assets. And
Assets?
yes.
What assets are you talking about?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I, for many, many years, collected baseball cards. And I have a couple collections from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Baseball cards?
Yeah, baseball cards.
Dad, nobody buys baseball cards anymore.
Oh, no. These are the good ones. These are the classics. I've got this Otis Nixon card. Got appraised a couple years ago.
No, Dad, honestly, baseball cards aren't a thing anymore. Kids don't even play with them. Nobody has them. I mean, honestly, Dad, how much do you even think that these are worth?
Well, I had the whole collection appraised a couple years ago, and the guy told me $500.
Awkward.
Oh, don't laugh. It's so mean.
What was that?
Oh, God.
Hello?
What's up, Dylan? How are you, man? This is Jubal from Brook and
sweet
Jubal in the
man.
morning.
Who are you guys?
Brook and Jubal in the morning. It's a radio
Oh,
show.
my gosh.
What?
Your dad listens to it.
And he had some big news to drop on you.
I'm sorry, I really don't understand. Dad, can you tell me what's going on? Why is there a radio show on the phone right now?
I needed a little bit of advice, and I listen to Brook and Jubal a lot, and they.
Brooke and who?
Jubal, that's me. Here, Richard, I'll explain real quick for Dylan. Maybe that'll help. Dylan, we do a segment on our show called the Awkward Tuesday Phone Call, okay? And that's where if you have kind of a tough situation and you want to talk to somebody about it, you can email us. We'll give you advice on how to handle that conversation, but you have to make the phone call on the air with us.
Okay.
And so your dad emailed us because he wanted to break the news to you that he was going to shuffle things around in his will and give your sister most of his assets and not you because he thinks you're doing fine and apparently your sister could use $500. I don't know.
I mean, no offense, but if it's only $500, I am doing fine.
No, Richard was telling us all this, and he never told us what his assets were. I was picturing like hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like I
Same.
thought you guys were like trust fund kids.
Guys, I am not just talking about baseball cards here, though. I mean, obviously, I did not have a chance to go into all of it, but the assets altogether are worth a good amount.
Okay.
We've
Hold up, Dad. What assets are you even talking about? You don't even own anything. You rent a house.
sure, but I mean, first of all, we've got our car. It's been well taken care of, well maintained. It's been garaged.
It's been garaged because that car hasn't been able to drive in over 10 years. That's why it's garaged.
That car is a classic, I'll have you know. And then, of
You
course,
can't call a 92 Chrysler a classic. It's worth absolutely nothing, Dad.
You guys stop laughing. I feel so
Chrysler.
bad.
but no. You see, it's garaged, and so it hasn't been because it hasn't been warmed by the weather. It's going to be worth a lot more. Drop a new engine in that thing, and it'll be right as rain.
All right. Right as rain.
Oh my God.
Maybe some doors. I don't know.
Richard, it doesn't sound like, no offense here, but it doesn't sound like you have like a huge inheritance to give to your kids.
Well, we also have his mother's oil paintings. But those cassettes are pretty penny, I'm sure.
Dad, nobody wants Mom's oil paintings that she painted herself.
You guys, Richard, you are a very good father trying to
are.
take care of your kids, and it's very sweet.
It sounds like your son's gonna be okay,
Yeah.
just like you thought.
Yeah, your son will be fine.
I have a feeling your daughter may have gotten her money management skills from you.
These are real assets. I don't understand why it's so funny to everybody, but these things are an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for. I mean, look, if it's $500, it's $500.
That's for sure.
The reason that people are laughing, Richard, is because when you set it up, it sounded like you had a ton of stocks and all that kind of stuff.
House or two.
Our
Yeah, and so that's what we were
expectations.
thinking. And then come to find out, you got a 92 Chrysler and $500 worth of baseball cards. I'm sure your daughter could use that to sell or whatever, but it's just the expectation was a lot bigger. That's why people think it's funny.
Dad, it's very sweet that you want to do this for her, and I think your heart's in the right place, and this is really kind of you.
Dylan, you're just happy because you don't have to try to sell a 92 Chrysler. Your sister does now.
I'm not going to lie. I won't have to worry about it, and she'll be happy to deal with it. Honestly, I think my dad's doing the right thing here. I'm going to agree with him. He's doing a great job.
That's good.
I think this is really sweet. I thought that this phone call, Richard, was going to destroy a family.
Dude, I thought
and you know what? You raised your kids right, and they seem like very kind people.
They're great kids. They're really, really great kids. So, Dylan, you're okay if she gets the majority of this? You're okay with this?
Dad, I'm not just okay. I'm great with it. You could give her everything.
Oh, whoa.
Well, there you go.
Oh
Congratulations,
my God,
Richard.
it's so cute.
Successful Awkward Tuesday phone call. You got your problem solved.
Thanks, guys. Dylan, I'll see you at dinner on Sunday.
Yes, you will, Dad.
And Dylan's paying, obviously.
Brooke and Jubal.